should. All right, so it says we're live. Hey, everybody. I'm going to double check on my phone and make sure we're live really quick. Everything's working. Here we go. Perfect. Awesome. I see us. All right, cool. All right, so been looking forward to this. I know a lot of you women in this group have also been looking forward to this. So this is Mary Catherine of Green Mood Nutrition, and she is going to be, I'm going to do a quick, like an interview with her today. And if you are watching or you're watching the replay, you can post your comments and she'll be able to answer them and get back to them accordingly. So let's go ahead and dive in. So you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Mary Catherine?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Mary Catherine Green. I am the owner of Green Mood Nutrition, which is a nutrition company that I actually just started about a month ago. I have been in love with nutrition and using it to better people's lives for a very long time. And I finally decided to bite the bullet and actually make a business with it and try to connect to as many women as possible. So I pretty much honestly started falling in love with nutrition in undergrad. I have an undergrad degree in exercise science, and we had to take like a basic 101, nutrition class. And I was like, this stuff is so cool. And it just sparked my interest. My nutrition professor was amazing, and I just kept rolling with it. And there's just so many. I could talk about the beginning forever, but there's so many little things that happen and so many people that I met because of it. And I was like, this is just awesome. I just want to keep doing it. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I have multiple jobs. I'm a physical therapist assistant, nutrition coach, certified personal trainer, all kinds of stuff. But I've been working in this business now for almost 11 years. So I've worked with a lot of people. And like I said, I just decided to bite the bullet and make my own business with it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. So one of my, just like my personal questions that I want to get out of the way, I've just been so curious about is, so you wrestled in high school, right?
I wrestled in high school. I did. Yes.
Okay. So based on where you were then, where you are now, what's changed? I know a lot has changed, but like your nutrition then versus now, how has it changed?
It is like night and day. Okay, so yeah. I was just telling somebody this the other day. Like, I remember getting ready to go to practice and like being really hungry, and my sister taking me to Taco Bell really quick and like getting nachos and then going to wrestle for like 2 hours. And like I was like, ah. You don't think about nutrition when you're in high school at all. And it's funny that you bring that up because I'm coaching high school now, and I'm trying to get all these girls to understand how important it is, because a lot of my issues with nutrition, hormone, depression, anxiety, all that started at that age because of the things that I was putting in my body and just not having any idea how important it was, because it's just not something people talked about when I was growing up. And growing up in the Mid-South too, so we like our fried chicken. But anyway, yeah. So my typical diet when I was in high school was pretty much garbage. I might have eaten 2 meals a day, maybe, and I would assume that I might have been getting like maybe 50 grams of protein if I was lucky, probably less than that, and just eating whatever I felt like, honestly. And as a wrestler, you have to cut weight, right? So I was never so much dealing with being overweight as in regards to like my actual body fat percentage and all that, but it was more of wanting to lose weight for my sport. And then when I got to college, I actually dropped a weight class. So everybody talks about the freshman 20, right? I think they say that, right? Like when you get in college, everyone gains 20 pounds. Well, I lost like 20 pounds. I was like a stick, and I was extremely unhealthy. I would not have said that I necessarily had an eating disorder or anything like that, but I definitely wasn't eating enough, and I didn't feel good ever. Like, as a collegiate athlete, you should probably eat to feel good, right? But I did not. I was a stick, and I was miserable, and that's kind of when I started getting like all these hormone issues and all kinds of crazy stuff was happening to me. So over the years of learning about nutrition, I was able to tweak some stuff and make a massive change. And me now compared to what I was then is like, one, I wouldn't even recognize that person physically or emotionally or mentally or anything. Like, just completely has changed my life, and I have energy 24/7, and I feel good, and it's just night and day, the difference that it's made. And I wish I would have known what I know now when I was a wrestler, because I think it would have made a major difference in overall performance and everything for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I just have like now I'm just building on all these questions, but as a as a female wrestler, like, and I'm sure there's always a lot of pressure to fit into weight classes, right? Like in strongman, there's a lot of pressure to fit into your weight class, like whatever. In any sport that you're in that has weight classes,
Right.
it's always a thing. So, and I'm sure you deal with that with your athletes right now, right?
Yes.
So how are you able to help them understand, like, if they even need to fit into a weight class, how do they do that healthy? And then versus if they, how do you help them wrap their mind around that?
Yeah, so it's actually can be very difficult because you're trying to balance teaching technique, mental training with sports, nutrition. I mean, it's a whole lot. And unfortunately, right now, it's just me doing all this. But what I've tried to do over the past 2 years that I've ran this program is actually have nutrition meetings. And we'll usually be really good about them at the beginning of the school year. And then as we get heavier into season, I try to just keep reminding them and rely on them to make that decision. But we just actually had our first nutrition meeting for next year after weightlifting on Thursday, sorry. And I literally wrote everything out like on with a dry erase marker. We have this big mirror in our weight room, and I give them the numbers, right? I'm like, all right, everybody get your phone out. We're going to find your kilogram of body weight. We're going to multiply it. Okay, this is blah, blah, blah. And then I give them the recommendation of how many grams they should be eating of protein. Bam, there's the number, right? And I don't sit there and say, now you need to download MyFitnessPal and track every single thing you eat. We're talking about high school athletes, right? Like we're talking about kids that are still trying to have fun. And, they're not really as analytical and probably don't want to pay attention to that. Don't get me wrong. Some people do, but not all of them. But I give them a number to start thinking about it, right? Because when you start thinking about things, like even a little bitty seed that you can plant in your brain will make you make the smallest decisions with each meal that you take, or just trying to increase your nutrition here and there, and choosing healthy snacks and stuff. So it's a long process. It's a mental, like, nutrition starts with psychology and the way that you have a relationship with food, right? So it's trying to slowly start building those habits and getting them to understand like what you're putting in your body and how that affects your performance on the mat. And that goes with your mat, not even an athlete, right? Like weight in the weight room, like maybe you just really enjoy powerlifting by yourself. You don't even want to compete, or like Olympic training, whatever. You just enjoy doing that and you like to get better because it's a hobby. Same thing. Like you're still training as an athlete, right? So anyway, yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're building a nutrition program with them slowly over time. And luckily, most of these athletes I have in front of me for 2 to 3 years, for at most. And so I'm just constantly trying to build that with them as they grow older and more mature and can make better decisions for themselves.
Right. Yeah. So and you talked about this before, but there's so much information out there. It's so hard to see through it. And as I remember when I was in high school, I started dieting when I was in high school, and I was like, it was stupid, so dumb, right? And it's like, how do you, it's like, and then from there it just builds upon it, and you think you're fat all the time, even though you're like 120 pounds, and it's total mind screw up.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah. And if I had to guess, that's probably where a lot of like you said, depression starts and things like that. And then it's all the psychology part of it. It's crazy that it's all connected.
Yeah, it is. It's very unhealthy to plant that negative seed early in life because it's really hard to battle it later in life. One of the things that I tell my girls, like we talk about weight class, like, well, when we get a new girl, like everyone introduce themselves and they'll tell their weight class and they don't care, right? Like I'm like, you do not be ashamed of how much you weigh. That's ridiculous, right? And I'm just trying to get them to understand how important it is to embrace the body that you're in and be okay with it. Like you shouldn't be embarrassed to tell people how much you weigh, right? Especially if you're an athlete, you work out, you're an athlete, like it's cool. You've got more muscle. It's all right. Embrace that, it's just crazy. But there's back to like what you were saying earlier, there's so much BS out there with nutrition. It's unbelievable because some people like take something really small that's been researched maybe like this much, and then they blow it up as this fad diet or whatever to make money, right? And that's where we go wrong in this country big time with all of that. So
right. So I have to ask really quick on the fad diet thing. How do you feel about like keto and the diet and things like that. Would you ever suggest anything like that? Or what's your approach to things when people are like, hey, I've tried all these diets and I love this? Are you like, that's no?
So that's a loaded question. Okay.
Mhm.
I think the last time I researched it and actually read like peer reviewed legitimate research, like 95% of fad diets fail. And I think between 1 and 2 years after you've completed that diet, you gain all the weight you lost back. Is it what I believe? I might have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that was the most recent statistic that I read. So it doesn't have good reliability or efficiency or anything like that. Anything that you do that you cannot do forever is not going to work, right? So I'm much more interested in creating lifestyle changes. However, the flip side of that, right? And I'm not like this black or white person. There's a huge gray area with nutrition. I have met people that have major hormonal imbalances that really benefit from keto temporarily to reset their hormones, or Whole30 or something like that, right? So I'm not completely anti fad diet, if you will, but I know that it can't be sustained for a long time. So there has to be guidance in manipulating those variables that are involved with the diets, and then building consistency afterwards and how you're going to progress from there, right? So it can be a temporary thing to help heal your body, kind of almost like taking medicine temporarily, essentially, and then building lifestyle consistency and changes that you can maintain forever, right? So it's not totally out of the question, but usually you can kind of pick up on personalities that are going to really stick to it and commit to it versus who won't, and who needs it and who doesn't. It can be helpful. I'm not totally disregarding some of them, because I've also heard some amazing stories and work with people that have used it, and it has worked. But again, my goal is not the ooh yay, I'm gonna look good for the beach and I'm gonna be good, and then next winter I'm gonna be looking chunky again, right? Like that's not what we're going for, or go back to my negative body image again, or whatever it is, right? So there's a huge gray area, and I do not mesh and vibe with nutritionists or nutrition coaches that are like, this is how you do it, this is how it has to be done. No, every single person is different. Everybody's different. Everyone has different goals. Everyone has different anatomy. Everybody has different levels of hormones, all kinds of stuff, different areas of the country they live in, which affects them. There's so many variables. So it just can't be one size fits all ever. Just can't happen.
Right. That's awesome. And I'd never thought about it that way. So that's a really cool reframe. I love it. So let's talk about hormones. I'm excited to talk about it. I don't, I see it pop up more like when I do my own research and, like with nutrition and things, but how does hormones affect, like, let's say, time in the gym and food that you eat and things? Like, how does it all connect?
Yeah, so your hormones can pretty much make or break you. And, I'm talking about female hormones right now, right? Like that's obviously what I research mostly, because I pretty much mostly work with females. But hormones, like, can really talk to you if you listen to them. If you get like having like weird signs and symptoms of like acne in your 30s, right? Little hairs popping up around your chin, just like general moodiness, not able to sleep, stuff like that, right? Like I'm not saying 100% for a fact that's what's going on, but there's a pretty significant research to show that probably is what's going on. And unfortunately, the general American diet does not support hormone balance in women in any way, shape, or form. We eat a lot of dairy. We eat a lot of refined carbohydrates. We eat all kinds of garbage that just can throw our hormone system completely off, because everything that you put in your body, your cells are trying to ingest. So I always try to get people to understand that your body's like a little computer, and it has obviously you have a ton of cells in it, and all of these cells are programmed to ingest certain codes, and the code is the food that you're putting into your body, right? And so if there's certain codes that are not good for those cells, that's going to wreak havoc on your hormone system and GI tract and all that kind of stuff. So it can get very complicated, right? But that's why we have people that, research it, like nutrition coaches and stuff. But hormones and training, you can hit plateau after plateau, right? Just get stuck, right? Because your hormones are not working the way that they're supposed to. And so your body cannot gain muscle mass. You can't lose fat, whatever it is. because there's actually something chemically on a chemical level going on in your body that is not working properly. You can't achieve your goals. It happens all the time, all the time.
That's so interesting. Okay, cool. Well, if you had, okay, so how does hormones, and how do I want to phrase this question? How does hormones affect, like, I know you specialize with women who are like with hormones and then depression. How does that all connect?
Yeah, so when your body, this is something like estrogen has like a negative connotation, and that drives me crazy, right? Like, oh, you're just moody because you got more estrogen. Like, I'm a female. I'm supposed to have more estrogen. That is the beauty of being a female. It's gorgeous. We love it, okay? Men have estrogen too, right? Like, I hate that it has like a negative connotation, right? So if you throw like your levels off, it is going to affect your performance and how you feel. So every single thing in your body is like a yin and yang, which I did a live video of this not too long ago, right? So like you've got your testosterone and your estrogen, right? And they just kind of work together like this little yin and yang cycle that's supposed to happen, right? And one can get really high, one can get really low, whatever. And then you have all these side effects and everything going on. And so when you don't feel good, right? Sometimes that can come from things not being in yin and yang, right? Your body always wants to be in homeostasis. I use yin and yang as like, that's like my keyword for homeostasis, because I don't like using big science words because I feel like I lose people all the time. But homeostasis is just your body's want to be in this happy little yin and yang, even flow kind of thing going on, right? So when that's not happening, you're going to have signs and symptoms of depression and anxiety, because those are the hormones that help balance everything going on in your brain and how you feel on a day-to-day basis. If one's elevated, you can feel more aggressive, more angry, blah, blah, blah. Start having issues with weight gain, which leads to depression. Everything you do, nothing's working to get that weight off, and so you feel extra depressed, and it's just like this vicious cycle of, one, you have a chemical imbalance going on and a hormonal imbalance going on, and two, you're trying as hard as you can, so you have just that general mental component of, I'm working my butt off and nothing's happening, so that makes you depressed on top of the chemical and hormonal imbalance that naturally makes you feel depressed. So it's a recipe for disaster for women. You know, it's so important for me to get that word out there and get people to understand that, because I mean it can essentially like lay down your entire life, right? And it's like, shouldn't have to live like that at all.
Right. So something that you had said on your live that hit home with me, which I thought was really cool. You said we're supposed to feel good, right? And we're supposed to feel awesome and good and feel like vibrant and healthy and have a lot of energy. Well, I talk to a lot of females all the time that don't have any, like they don't have energy levels, and they just like have like a very like, you know, negative outlook and things like that. So what allows you, because you say, you know, I feel great, I feel good. What allows you to be able to do that?
I feel good all the time because I put my nutrition first. I put myself and my body first. And that is something that's like a foreign idea to women. And it drives me crazy. They think they have to put everybody else first. And that's just untrue. If you're not happy and you're not feeling good, you can't take of other you can't take care of other people effectively. And so everything that I put into my body has a purpose. Okay. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes that's purpose is because I'm craving cheese, and that's okay. Right. We're not talking about this like 24/7, got to stick to this all the time thing. But the vast majority. So I feel good because I support my body with nutrition. Right. So like your body should be treated like your dream car, whatever that dream car is. And you know that you're going to put the most efficient fuel in it. That's exactly how you should treat your body. Food essentially is fuel, right? To give you energy, and you should feel good. Like it is like so annoying to me. Like I get so annoyed when people are talking about like, oh, I got 3 or 4 hours of sleep last night, and like it's almost like they're bragging about it. Like, look at me, look how much I can destroy my body and still keep going. Like, woo, cool. Like it's not a good thing, right? Like we're not designed to feel bad, and it's almost like we've created a normalcy just to not feel good. Like everyone complains about Monday, like, oh God, I got the Sunday night blues, I gotta go to work Monday. Ooh, I've got like the 3 p.m. sleepy time, like I'm always so tired, I'm yawning at work, all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is not normal. Not at all. We've normalized it people think it's normal, but that's not what our body was designed to do. It wasn't at all designed to feel like crap every day. And I think once people unlock that and they realize it, they're like, dang, I don't feel good, right? Like a lot of people don't even know that they don't feel good until I start pointing these things out, and they're like, oh God, I feel like crap every day. Like I just thought that's how I was supposed to feel. No, why would we be supposed to feel like that, right? Like I just got tongue twisted because I'm getting so heated about it, right? But like, why would you think that that's like how you're supposed to feel? Like if that's not a recipe for depression and anxiety, I don't know what else is. You already believe you're supposed to feel like that. Like no, not correct at all. So sorry I went on a tangent, can't help it.
It's good. It's good. I think this is it made me think of something that I deal with as a strength coach is and I'm sure you have too, because you're all, you know, you have all of the accolades, so you've done it all. Is that like when people talk to me about lifting and things, they think that they have to lift like 7 days a week, and by the end of the workout, they have to be dead. It is very rare for me to leave a lift feeling like I'm completely dead.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure I don't feel like that.
I've been I mean, I know I was a strength coach for like 4 years before I went back to school to be a PTA. And I still do work with strength athletes here and there. Obviously, I work with my girls, right? But focused toward wrestling, but we still are working in the weight room. So the last time I read some research, and I think, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it was from the NSCA journal. Oh my gosh, journal. Journal article is a journal, I guess. But I think they said like there was really no benefit to training heavy more than 4 days a week. Like your body just says whatever after 4 days a week. Like it doesn't even adapt to it at all.
Yeah.
But you might be more advice on that because I haven't read the research very recently. But I'm 90% sure that was the last thing I read was like after 4 days of heavy training, your body's like, okay, that was enough. I'm good. I'm going to have my max adaptations within a week from that. And I don't really need to do 5 or 7 days. That's you're wasting your time not training smart.
Absolutely. And I don't veer away. Like I completely agree. I don't veer away from that. All my clients are on 4 or 3 day splits when it comes to that training, and that's it. Everything else is like active recovery, little like conditioning workouts, nothing crazy. So
yeah, cool.
All right, so let's keep moving on here. Do you have any insights or advice you have for other women who are looking to get through or working through anxiety and depression?
Yeah, I think that you have 2 options essentially, right? Like when we organize the options we have, it really makes things a little bit easier. No, I take that back. You have 3 options. I'm sorry. One is deciding if you want to take the natural path or if you want to take the more medical-based path. I'm not hating on either option. I obviously prefer the more natural path, but we also, have people that have extreme cases of anxiety and depression, right? Like maybe they're borderline bipolar disorder or having some just really, really, really serious things going on. And in that case, I would definitely be like, hey, it would probably be best to refer to a medical physician that specializes in that, as well as fixing your nutrition. I'm never going to say one without the other at all, but people that want to take the more natural path, you have 2 options, right? So we have those 2 categories, and then this is your option with going to see a medical physician, and then the more natural path breaks into 2 categories, which is 1, you can take time and do the research yourself, or 2, you can have somebody to help you, because there is a really it's really difficult to find the correct research and things to trust, right? So I think people that have a background in finding research and know what to look for have a better chance of figuring it out themselves, or hire somebody for a little bit. It doesn't have to be a forever thing, right? A good nutrition coach is going to teach you, right? A good nutrition coach is not going to make you dependent on them 24/7 for the rest of your life. A good nutrition is going to show you the facts, the research, and teach you how to do this stuff yourself. Not make you dependent on them forever. So those are really the options that you have. The option that you should not allow for yourself is to not do anything at all. That is the wrong option. So a lot of times when I talk to people, I'm like, listen, here are your options, pick one. Like, don't sit here and accept this for your life, because it's not acceptable. You shouldn't have to live your life like this. And I think once people understand that they don't deserve to live a life full of depression, anxiety, weight gain, misery, all that kind of stuff, then that's when they say, okay, I'm gonna put my foot down, I'm gonna do something about this.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's all about taking action. Take action.
Yes, you're in control. You're more control than you know.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, I'm gonna run some group questions that the ladies have in the group for you. Okay. So one of them is, and this you can elaborate however you want. Like, this could go back to maybe they have gut health issues. I don't know. Sure. But someone asked, what's the best thing I can eat that's light and won't upset my stomach?
Okay. Loaded question.
Loaded question, right? So, yeah.
My thing is, I'm getting the phone back because I'm getting comfy now. I'm getting all excited. Okay. So, like, the first thing I'm going to ask is, well, what the heck is causing your stomach to hurt, first of all, right? I can't make a recommendation until I know what's going on. Do you have a dairy allergy? Are you intolerant to something? What bothers you, right? Because there are healthy foods that bother people's stomach. So I can't answer that without knowing what bothers you and trying to figure out how to combat that one. And then, tailor your nutrition and make advice from there. So, there's a lot of supplementation that can help with gut health, because that sounds like a gut health issue if you're having like some sensitivities and stuff like that going on. So yeah, I wish I could give you, like I said, like, this stuff's not black and white, right? Like, I could say one thing that works for me and it's not going to work for you, or it's not going to work for the other 5 women who are trying to take that advice. So unfortunately, I can't make just one recommendation. I need to know what's bothering your stomach. Like, that's when I have people do food journals and then tell me how they feel after they eat certain foods, or if they already know, like, every time I eat this, this is what happens. And we look at the chemical makeup of that food and look at the things that could be triggering that effect, and then pick snacks and food altered around from that and figure out if they have a food allergy and all that kind of stuff. So loaded response there.
Right. Yeah. So on some of these, ladies, if you want extra, more of a better response, just reach out to Mary Catherine. And she'll be able to help you from there for sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, of course, this is I feel like this is the most popular question I find on the internet, and it is. What's a good calorie deficit if you are trying to lose weight and want to build muscle?
So it depends on your goal. It depends on how much you weigh. It depends on how much you work out. It depends on the amount of food you can even tolerate consuming or not tolerate consuming. It depends on your work. Like, do you work out and are you doing a job where you're up on your feet 24/7? It depends on so many variables. So again, I know it stinks because people just want an answer, right? But I would not be doing my job as a nutrition coach if I just told you 1,200 calories. First of all, I very rarely am ever going to tell a female to only eat 1,200 calories. Almost never. Okay. Especially an older female that's working out a lot. Right. So I was like, no, that's not good. So yeah.
Yeah. It's all over the place. Everybody thinks they need to eat 1,200 calories. I don't understand.
I'm like, where did that start? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Right. So, because at the end of the day, you have your basal metabolic rate. So that's how much your body, literally, I just sat here like this all day. I'm making my double chin right there. If I just sat like this all day, it's like how much my body would need just to live and breathe and blink my eyes, right? And then we have your output from your job, output from how intense your workouts are, all that kind of stuff, your sleep, all that. And then we look at this total calories of how many you might be burning a day, and then we tailor it from that. And everybody's going to be different. There might be a female that has a desk job who tries to get up every 30 minutes to run to the bathroom or walk around. So they're burning maybe 250 calories while they're at work, which is terrible. But, and then they're going to work out and burning, 800 because they do these crazy intense workouts, or, or they don't do that. Right. There's just so much. Everybody's body's different and everyone's situation's different. So there can't be one answer for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I still find this super refreshing because it's like there's so like with all the information out there, everybody wants to be like, well, you do this, this, and this, and it's really important to remember that everybody's different. So what's going to work for if this person is telling you that you need, that everybody's 1,200 calories, that can't possibly be because everyone is so different. So
it doesn't even make sense, right? Like, and then just body type too, like people endomorph, ectomorph, all that kind of stuff that plays a role in it too. Like we are not our bodies itself are not equal, right? Like everybody's different, which is okay, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but you got to get the correct device for you and your body to reap the benefits, essentially.
Okay. Yeah. Are you familiar with TDEE?
Not super.
Okay.
I meant to do more research on that before this, and I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot. That's me. I'm always very honest.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so have you dealt with anyone, or have you dealt with anyone who has had any thyroid issues?
I have, yeah.
I feel like that's really I never thought about it before, but I feel like it's a thing that I keep seeing that comes up too. And there was a question on that. She said, I have hypothyroidism and 49 and trying to lose fat and gain muscle, figuring out what to eat. Obviously, this is probably going to go back to like what you said, or body type, things like that. But how do you start with someone who has thyroid issues?
So the first thing I ask for is their levels, right? Have they been tested, and what did the levels of their hormones say, right? And then we just make recommendations based on that. So part of the the class that you do to become a certified nutrition coach or a nutritionist goes into details about that. If you do like a efficient program, and so we look at the hormone levels. And then we talk about foods that can throw that off. And then, it depends like what kind of medication they're on and all that kind of stuff, which, we have to walk the line with that, right? Like, so that's when advice about working with a medical professional in conjunction with nutrition is really important. But I have seen people that change their nutrition and their thyroid levels level out. And they no longer have to take medication. And that same thing goes for other hormone imbalances as well. So nutrition does have the ability to manipulate that and help. Not always. Sometimes it's, we've got some genetic stuff going on. Like I work in the medical field, so I have an appreciation and understanding for not every single thing is tied to just nutrition, right? There's other things that can go on within the human body, but nutrition can significantly help if you do it correctly. But again, we'd have to talk about hormone levels, how long have you been dealing with this, and a lot of other variables that can play a role in putting stress on your thyroid.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks for that. So I don't know. I just find that really interesting too. I feel like I see thyroid stuff come up a lot now, and it's very interesting.
It's like red flag. Why are we seeing this so much?
I know, right? Yeah, I know.
Hey. Right.
Right. All right. So let's change our conversation here a little bit. So the next question I have is it's about frozen food. So frozen options for those that don't like to cook and don't want fast food. Do you have any recommendations on frozen food?
Yeah, I'm not anti frozen food and convenience. I actually just made a post about this where I uploaded a picture of all my snacks I got from Costco that are moderately processed and all that kind of stuff, because we live in a hustle bustle world, right? So one of the things with nutrition and working with a nutrition coach is their goal should be to make this as easy as possible for you, right? So for me to say too bad, better learn how to love cooking because you're not going to eat those frozen veggies. We're going to do this the real deal. It might not be sustainable, right? Just like certain diets aren't sustainable, certain lifestyles aren't sustainable for a mom who has 4 kids and just doesn't have time, or whatever the reason is, right? I hate when people say, well, saying I don't have time isn't an excuse. Okay, you tell that to a single mom with 4 kids. Come on now, guys. Let's be realistic, right? And that's what I always try to do with my clients. There's a way to do things with using minorly processed foods, with frozen food, stuff like that, and still getting nutrition in, right? And then that's also where we bring up supplementation to help counterbalance any lack you might be having as well. So there's ways to do it, right? And some nutritionists are like, oh, don't ever eat processed food, blah blah. Like, I'm realistic. I'm a realist, right? So I know that some of the people that I work with, one, either they hate cooking and they're just not gonna do it. So I have to provide them with the tools that they need to actually do what they need to do with the lifestyle that they lead. Or if they want to start doing that all natural way, then I can help them with that too. So yeah, like frozen vegetables, don't get me wrong, there are nights when I get home from wrestling practice at like 8:30 and I'm like, Brussels sprouts in the pack, going in the microwave, let's go. Like, it's fine, right? I would way rather you do that than run through McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever and just stress eat, right? Because you're trying to hurry up, right? So I would way prefer people to use frozen vegetables or like healthy quick meals or something like that. Absolutely. So yeah, I don't have any bias against frozen veggies. I've got some in my freezer right now.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I'm a big frozen veggie person, if I'm completely honest. So
yeah, that's okay. It's all right.
It's good to know. Because like then if I have fresh vegetables that like, and I love fresh vegetables, but they'll end up going like, if I don't get to it within like a week, then they end up going bad. And it's
somebody said one of my husband's friends called the I can't remember what he called it, but it was like a veggie drawer. But he had a funny name for the veggie drawer. It was like the drawer of death. I don't know, like something like this is where vegetables go to die or something. But he had a funny name for it, and I can't remember what it was. It was hilarious. So my drawer doesn't do that because I love fresh veggies. Every once in a while it might, but I get what you're saying.
Okay, so another big question that I feel like happens in the nutrition world and the fitness world is protein and how much.
Yeah.
How do you even begin to like help your clients figure that out?
Yeah.
For anybody who's looking to like figure out their protein requirement?
Again, goals, right? So like if I've got a female athlete who or not even an athlete, right? Like just a general, because I keep going back to athletes, like a general client who is just trying to lose a little bit of weight and stay healthy, but they do work out pretty aggressively because they enjoy it, right? About 4 days a week, right? So we're talking like maybe 1.2 to like at max like 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Again, this is totally dependent on how vigorous they're working out, by the way. But I'm just saying like a medium average, right? And so what we do is we take that number, right? I teach you how to do the math. And so you just have that number, which, by the way, does change as you lose weight. It does change as you lose weight. Okay. We have to manipulate all the variables just like you do in strength and conditioning, right? So we look at that, and then we look at, okay, if you just like load your body up with one gigantic meal of protein, it has a really low absorption rate. So like the recommendation is try to split those meals up throughout the day. So we figure out how we can do that as well. So the average, right, is to try at minimum to eat 4 meals a day with your protein split between those 4 meals. So we work on ways of how we can do that based on your lifestyle and what we have going on. But again, the number is different for everybody. It cannot be the same, right? So like if you're moderately working, or let's say you don't work out at all, like, and you're like, man, dude, I go on a 15-minute walk every day if you're lucky, right? We're gonna be on the lower end, like 0.8 grams, right? And tailoring that kind of stuff versus that mom who's like hustle bustle, always go, and loves working out and does CrossFit 5 days a week. We're going up towards like 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, right? So it's just different, right? It's different. I feel like I keep saying that, but it's the truth, right? I mean, it just is.
Yeah, right, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's really cool too, because it's not, it shouldn't be like this is the standard for everyone, because I can't remember what I've read before, but it's something about 1 pound, like 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, I think is what people usually say or something. But
yeah, anybody who says that is, 1, not viced well in the current research, and 2, in my opinion, is lazy with their programming and just wants to do it really quickly and make a bunch of money. I don't want to do that. I mean, this is my business, so yes, I want to make money doing it, but I want to change these people's lives and give them the correct information for their body to make a change. right?
Right.
And just giving a
Absolutely.
general number to every single client is absurd.
Right. Yeah. Love that. That's awesome. Okay. Building upon that, something else that I find in the fitness world, especially in like CrossFit and things like that, is macros, like macronutrients, and counting your macros, and if it fits in your macros and things like that. So how do you? All right, there we go. How do you feel about that? What advice do you have for someone who maybe doing macros or is thinking about doing their macros?
So
Like,
I hope everyone has picked up on the fact that I'm a real person. Like, I'm just like, I call the BS. I don't care. I'll argue with people all day if they don't believe me. I'm like, listen, like, this is why, right? Like, my opinions aren't based on how I feel. They're based on research, right? I don't care about how you feel. I care about the things that have been proven to help people, right? Not the fluff, the frou-frou stuff, okay? If it fits your macros, drives me nuts because it basically tells you eat whatever the hell you want and have a good life as long as it fits in this macro nutrient thing, which drives me bonkers, right? Like, no, you need to eat to feel good, right? So you could have someone that eats, pizza and hot fudge sundaes or whatever, and they're keeping it in their macros every day. And they feel like crap. Like, of course they feel like crap, right? So not a big fan of that personally. That one specifically. So sorry if I just busted somebody's bubble or made somebody mad. I just don't like it. I have good reason to too.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, if you're eating ice cream, you're not gonna feel good. I feel like that's just a given. Like, you know what I mean? So,
like, if you feel good eating like that, eating whatever you want, high five. Like, wish I could, but I know very few people that do. And like I said at the very beginning of this live, people will not even realize how crappy they feel. And we point out all these like energy deficiencies they're having throughout the day and stuff. Like, oh, okay, I just thought that was normal. Nope. Right?
Nope. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so my next question that just came in recently was, what are some recommendations on helping balance the weird chemistry? They said the weird chemistry between hormones and gut health. Do you have any like little tips or tricks or anything?
Yeah, so they're directly correlated, right? Like, gut health is directly correlated. So and this is going to sound super hippie-ish, like, I consider your gut like a garden for your body, and like the flora, right, the flowers that grow from it, like all that healthy bacteria is what's going to support your body, and that can throw off your hormone system completely, your endocrine system. So my recommendation is always with people that are struggling with gut health stuff. A lot of times, like I said, like hormone and gut health go hand in hand, like they're little buddies, right? So I always make supplement recommendations to kind of help balance out the flora in your body, which includes, enzymes, probiotics, prebiotics, which are super important as well, and just some natural remedies that help like calm symptoms of GI distress. And we start with that, and then we work on, changing your nutrition and showing you the things that can trigger those symptoms. And a lot of times, usually when we correct all of that stuff, we start getting a level out of hormones indirectly as well. So it's a little bit of a process. My favorite supplements for specifically people struggling with like IBS and leaky gut syndrome, all that kind of stuff, are prebiotin, prebiotics, which I've made a post about this on my Instagram and did a little live about it too. Certain strains of probiotics have been more beneficial, right? There's a difference between prebiotics and probiotics, not the same thing. Certain strains of probiotics have been proven to be more beneficial for people struggling with these issues, right? So you need to either do your research with that, make sure you're finding the correct one, or, hire somebody to help you with that. And then there's also a supplement out there. And in this research, it sounds frou-frou-y, right? It sounds like fluff, like hippie stuff, but this is like actually been peer reviewed research, and fennel and peppermint oil and ginger have like significantly helped people improve their gut health as well. So making recommendations on stuff like that, and then that's temporary, right? So I've also got to make the nutrition change as well.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. On gut health, I have to ask this because I just like when you start to talk, I'm like, oh my God, there's all these little things that I find that people ask me or I've seen on the internet, and I just want you to debunk them. So, how do you feel about kimchi?
I like it. I mean, it's okay. I don't like I'm not in love with it. I'm gonna eat it every day or anything.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything.
I see like I see this all the time. People are like, fix your gut health, eat kimchi. And I'm like, I don't know.
Right. So there is something to say about that for sure. Like there's a little bit of research out there, and it can help. Right, that fermentation of the vegetables can help balance the gut. But and that's the same thing with like kombucha and stuff. So
that was my next question.
Yeah, I also have people that like bloat when they eat that, right? And it's like makes them feel terrible. So it's not a one size fits all. I can't even drink kombucha because it makes me burp like crazy, and I feel like I've got like all this gas sitting in my throat. And that's people that struggle with gut health, which I obviously have many times in my life. So again, that's not a one size fit all. You'll have one person that can drink it and they don't have any like upper GI issues whatsoever, and they feel fine. But people that have upper GI issues might not be able to drink that, right?
Right.
So it's different, or eat it, excuse me, too, as well. So it's just different. We just kind of play around with that. I'm not, again, there's not one answer, right? You don't just eat kimchi and the world changes, right? You change your entire diet, and if you want to work kimchi into that, awesome, right? Like that's great and that's fantastic if that works for you. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But you can't just eat kimchi for lunch and then you eat pizza and burgers and everything else. And then one thing I want to throw in there too that we didn't really talk about is, my assumption when I'm working with people is that they want to live for a long time too, right? Like they don't want to die when they're 50. Like they want to live for, like have their life revolved around longevity, right? So I'm also talking about like longevity of life. Like everything you eat can impact like your longevity of life, which also is why I kind of poop on if it fits your macros and eating whatever you want as long as it fits in your macros, because it's not sustainable food that's going to help you live longer. So, or help your GI tract and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
I just wanted to throw that in. I've remembered I wanted to say something about longevity and eating.
Yeah. So I also want to, because you work with females, and I'm sure this comes up a lot. And I saw it on your live. And I was like, I gotta ask her about this. So birth control. I know. There you go. So if someone's on birth control, and they've been on it, and maybe they're feeling weird, like how do you go about that? Because I know how you feel about it, but you can go ahead and tell everybody on this live a little bit like how you feel about it, like what the ins and outs of it might be.
Yeah. So, like I said, I work in the medical field, so I'm not anti-medication. I'm not this major like anti, like, oh, stay away from medicine for the rest of your life. That's not what my goal is in any way, shape, or form. Okay. The only thing that I try to do is educate people and give them the research and show them, hey, here's some links and stuff. Educate yourself before you put something in your body that changes your hormones, because birth control changes your hormones, whether you like it or not, right? So I just want people to be educated on the medication they're putting in their body. That's all. And some doctors do a fantastic job of that, and some don't do so great, right? So you have to understand that, if you didn't get well versed on what you're putting in your body, it might be beneficial to research it a little bit, right? And I'm not talking about like medication after you've had a surgery or something like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that you're on long term, right? They're like, hey, you're going to have to take this for a few years or whatever. Research it. Make sure you understand, right? Make sure you understand what you're putting in your body and how it can affect you, and then weigh the pros and cons and make the educated decision for yourself if that's what you want to do, right? There's women that deal with like extreme ovarian cyst issues, and so they feel like they have to get on hormone because they're in like severe pain every month. But there's also research that shows changing your diet can help with the cyst, right? So just making sure people are well versed, because birth control can alter your hormones, right? I mean, that's the whole point of it, essentially, to help to help with what's going on down under. Okay. And then I just got so distracted because I was trying to do an Australian accent, and I thought, I don't think that sounded correct at all.
It's okay. I thought it was fine.
Like, I'm such a ding dong. But just educating people. And like, my job is, I work with the human body, like orthopedically as a medical professional. I don't make medication recommendations at all, right? I just tell people, make sure you're being educated and making the correct decision for yourself. And if they want me to send them links to look at that's actually peer reviewed medical like research, then I will. I'll be more than happy to that. But it can change some stuff in your body, and some people it affects and some people it doesn't. And unfortunately, I've been on the end that it negatively affected me long term, as well as my sister and several other women that I know. And so I haven't had the best experience with it. So I'm not a gigantic believer that it's beneficial long term. But people have other motivations for wanting to take it. A baby's expensive, right? Like, I understand that, right? So that can be a touchy subject with women. I just want women to be educated and make the best decision for themselves and what they feel is best for themselves. So yeah.
So this is kind of not at all along the same lines. This is more like on a performance athlete standpoint. But so what is your opinion, and how would you go about working with nutrition with someone who is thinking of performance enhancing drugs, or who is on steroids, or who has been on steroids? Because I know that impacts health, longevity, and it can really like right now, sure, it might make you a great athlete, but in the end, like, you're really deteriorating your body. So can you just like touch on that for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, are you actually understanding what you're putting into your body, and do the short-term benefits of that outweigh the long-term benefits? If the answer is yes, all right, I'm probably not the coach to work with, because I'm not going to condone that. It doesn't support my mission. It doesn't support what I stand for, what I believe in. And I have no problem. I'm like all for people achieving their goals, and I don't mind, like, I do, like, every time someone hires me, we do like a little consultation to make sure that we're aligned with everything correctly. But I don't support it, right? Like, I don't really support long-term putting things unnatural in your body that alter your genetic makeup, essentially. So not a big fan. There's a reason it has a negative connotation with it. So I would usually, if someone was like all about it, I'd be like, hey, here's some research, look at it, make the best decision. If you still feel like you want to do this, that's your decision. Same thing like with birth control or any other medication. And if you want to do it, go for it. That's fine. That's up to you. But I probably would not be the coach to work with you with that. Because I think the human body is so much more capable of things that we don't even understand. Like the amount of strength that you can gain independently from just eating healthy is way more than people realize. Like, just out of this world. And you can get strong and fast and all that kind of stuff without doing that, and with working really hard. So, I'm not a believer.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because it's a lot, and I, like, personally, I don't care what anybody does. Like, if that's your thing, then by all means, do whatever you want. But I know for some people who have started, like strongman, for instance, they get really discouraged by people who are on steroids, and it can be really frustrating for them and things like that. And so I just was curious about your opinion on it. And
do they not have different divisions that like test?
Not right now, no.
Okay. Well, so hopefully the future of strongman would be that they do, like powerlifting divisions, and then it would give them then an opening for that, and that's got to be discouraging, right? But then we're talking about psychology, like, what is most important to you, right? Like is your own beating your own PR most important and doing it the right way, or beating somebody else? And again, I'm the same way. Like, if that's what you want to do, if that's what you think is best for you, then cool. Like, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about it at all. Unless you haven't learned about it, like, you don't really understand what you're doing to your body, then I'm going to argue with you. I'm going to be like, listen, you need to know what you're talking about and know what you're putting in your body and know how it's affecting your body. And if you know all that and you still make the decision, okay, that's cool. Like, that's what you want to do with your life, and you have the right to do that, right? So, but for me, I'm not going to be able to help coach somebody that wants to do that, because that's not what I research. That's not what I spend time dealing with. Nor does it interest me. So, yeah.
Awesome. Just wanted to touch on it. I was curious. I know a few women in the group are curious. We're curious about it too.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap up here in just a sec, because we've almost been on for an hour. But do you have any, real quick before I get into the next little segment, do you have any advice or anything that you want to say to anyone who is watching this or going to watch the replay? There'll be lots of replays.
Yeah.
People want the replay.
yeah, if you have questions, like reach out to me. It's completely fine. I'm more than happy to just like generally guide people in the right direction. But if you're like lost or like you just really need help, like I've got all kinds of packages you can sign up for, all kinds of good stuff that we can do if you're ready to just like do this thing and make the difference and make the shift. And you just like genuinely don't feel good, or you're not hitting your goals or whatever it is, and you just need the help. Like there's nothing wrong with hiring somebody for help whatsoever. So yeah, just don't just keep accepting like what you consider the norm right now of feeling not so great throughout the day or never hitting your goals or anything like that. Like understand that there's more out there that can help you and that can support you to making those lifestyle changes. And either one, like I said, do the research, figure it out based on some of the stuff we talked about today, or hire somebody that you trust. And it might be me, it might be somebody else, that's fine. But don't be stagnant in life. Like I don't believe in that. Like you need to like go after and get and
Oh,
get the
yeah.
life that you want to live, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so how does someone find you? I know you are on. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody like how to get a hold of you? What's your Instagram handle? What's your Facebook? Things like that.
Okay, so I am not as active on Facebook as I am on Instagram, but I do have a Facebook page that's called. So I have an LLC for my business, so it's just Green Mood Nutrition. Green is just spelled like the color, not an extra E on the end. And then my IG is at Green Mood Nutrition. I am currently I've hired somebody to create my website. It should be completely done in about 2 weeks, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks. So it takes a little bit of time to build it. So we're in the beginning phases of that, but there will be a link to my website and my IG and Facebook page as well. But right now, social media is the best way to get in contact with me. I'm very personable with my clients, so oftentimes once we meet, I give them my number, like they can text me, all that. Like it's an open book, open communication, not where you can only talk to me like 5 minutes a week or anything like that, because people need a lot more support to make these long lifestyle changes than just a few minutes a week. So the door for communication is wide open. But if you're interested, you can hit me up on hit me up. No, I'm just kidding. You can message me on Facebook or on Instagram right now. And then, like I said, once my website's up, that'll be another avenue of communication as well.
Sweet. I recommend everyone follow Mary Catherine for sure on Instagram, because she goes live on there and does live meetings and has great posts that are super informative and will help you out for sure. So yeah, anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. I feel like I talked a lot. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be really good. I'm excited for the comments to come, and I'll be sending everyone out the replay soon and posting this on all the social medias and things like that. So other than that, for being a part of this and letting me today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Like half of what you just said then cut out, which is crazy because it's the end of this and that's the first time it's happened. But I guess the universe is telling us to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate everything. Thank you so much.
I think so. All right, cool. Well, we'll talk soon, and everybody.
Okay, bye.